Hello, welcome to the IGN UK podcast. I'm Stuart Reed. Daniel Krupa is here.
Hello.
Alex Simmons is here. That's it. There's only three of us. Where's Tilly?
He's on a plane somewhere.
On a plane. He's going to
Austin, Texas.
He spends half his life in Austin, Texas.
He does.
He does. I don't care. As long as it's out of my hair.
And the other half in Austin Reed. Buying
being
little
tailored.
Is it your brother?
Can I please, before we do anything else on this podcast, can I give a big shout out to my main man, Tariq Alchemy, who is a 13-year-old Egyptian boy. Tariq, stop sending us the same email. I beg you. You've sent us the same email now about 25 times, and I thought if I say hello, you might stop.
We do appreciate the feedback.
We
just
do.
not over and over.
And I'm going to go through it very quickly. Glad to hear your cinema's cheap. Yes, that's right about Xbox One and PS4 sales. Doctor Who Christmas Special, it was all right. PlayStation Now, we're quite excited about it.
We'll talk about it in a bit.
The PS4 Turtle Beach deal, I know nothing about that. Anyway, keep watching.
All
or
questions
listening.
answered.
On to this week's news. We're in a bit of a rush. We've got to get this done in like 45 minutes because Alex is out here.
You got a big important meeting.
We've got to cram this in before we do anything else. So news this week.
Up first, it's reported that J.J. Abrams has met with everyone in Hollywood. This is the quote. Everyone in Hollywood. Around the casting of Star Wars.
He wants to focus on making
7.
the new Star Wars film.
Yeah, he's just hanging out, just kind of saying, look, I'm going over there for E3. Maybe I'll meet him.
Maybe he'll give you a part in the new film.
Maybe.
You could be this generation's Jar Jar Binks.
Or Salacious Crumb. That's how I see myself. To your Jabba the Hutt.
I don't even know what a Salacious Crumb is.
No, Salacious Crumb is.
It's the little dude that sits in front of Jabba.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
something like that.
Then I can see that happening.
Anyway, so according to the Hollywood Reporter, of course he's met with Fassbender. Fassbender is lined up to do...
He's bloody hard working.
What's that?
It's Hollywood Reporter. He does it all. It's this one dude.
Just one little fella.
He's knocking out a lot of coffee.
So he's up for an unspecified role. They're all up for unspecified roles. Hugo Weaving, who's not the guy from The Full Monty, I have since discovered,
Hugo.
to play an Imperial commander.
It wouldn't surprise me because those two guys are in everything. They're like this generation's Samuel L. Jackson. But Cumberbatch is the new Fassbender.
Yeah. So
Cumberbatch is in everything now.
He'd make a good Sith, don't you think?
Cumberbatch, oh God, yeah.
Is there room for little Martin Freeman?
There's always room for Tim from The Office.
Yeah.
It's always better with Tim from The Office.
Imagine him doing a double take to camera.
What, as an Ewok?
Star Wars. Yeah.
A triple take. Have you seen that video of Patrick Stewart demonstrating the very underused quadruple take?
No.
We should watch it. Anyone listening should go check it out on YouTube. It's a video that his wife filmed with Patrick Stewart on their honeymoon or something, and he's demonstrating the art of the quadruple take. It's masterful.
Right. Here's what I'm going to do as a video podcast extra. I'm going to drop it in right now.
Her buttons are the best.
Bad luck if you're only listening to us.
Yeah.
You
got screwed over.
Yeah, you got screwed over.
Other news.
Other news.
I haven't finished.
Oh.
There's more Star Wars news.
Sorry, I'm rushing.
So, other rumours are that Obi-Wan Kenobi has had a granddaughter or daughter.
Yeah. Granddaughter?
A granddaughter.
Granddaughter what?
A granddaughter. A granddaughter.
Barbara Cartland.
What?
Oh my God. She's a dame author.
And then other information comes to...
I love it when you can't speak in the podcast.
I know. It also helps if I read the rest of the bottom of the story. As you can see, I've only read that bit.
There's Twin Peaks theme podcasting.
So rumour has it that some of the original cast will be coming back too. So Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill?
Oh my God.
It's hard to sift fact from fiction, or sift. Originally, the original scriptwriter got let go because I think he wanted to focus on the next generation of the kids, and then I think Abrams has kind of changed it. Right. He wants to focus. He wants to give Leia, Luke, and Han a proper send off, so they'd be more involved in the new Star Wars movie. But it's all hearsay now.
It's kind of what he did with Star Trek, right? He tried to appease.
It was a sensitive use of
a new audience as well as the old audience. So fair play if he does it. My only concern is that the film gets mixed up as a result.
And also, you want to remember them how they were, not like...
I know, there was a picture of the three of them together. I don't know if it was taken recently, but it was like...
Well, I went to the Star Wars convention last year in Germany, and... obviously they've got older, and that's
Were
fine.
they all there?
Of course, Carrie Fisher was there, and Mark Hamill was there.
Right.
And
It was like
I
a
just
bad
don't want to
waxwork.
probably see them running round. Or
Here's the thing. I think whatever happens, I think we're all agreed that this time around, Carrie Fisher is allowed to wear underwear during the shoot.
yeah,
Does she not wear
She
underwear?
didn't- not in the
but it's
original Star Wars movie.
but
What,
not
at
now.
all?
She is mental. I really love her.
George
but she's
Lucas apparently told
practiced.
her there's no underwear in space. So she didn't wear any...
That's a bit like the Alien tagline,
And
isn't
no
it?
one can hear you scream. All right, George, a little bit creepy.
U-Tree, first U-Tree mention of the show.
George,
Boom!
grow the beard so you give an illusion of chin.
He's since CGI'd it on.
Who would you like to see Fassbender play?
Well, he's going to be
Jedi?
here.
Sith?
He'd be
He's
a good-
more Sith,
He'd be.
isn't
Do you think? I guess.
I don't know. I suppose his recent career has gone more down the kind of
Yeah,
villain
the
route.
dark side.
Villainous. Also, the Todd from Breaking Bad was rumoured. I think he's got that. A lot of people are going, oh, he couldn't play a Jedi now because people associate him with a quite messed up character.
Yeah.
But I think he looks very kind of Skywalker Ranch
Hang
kind
on a
of
minute.
look.
People
to him.
associate him with a messed up... No matter how much we love Breaking Bad, there, Star Wars, kind of up there.
Yeah.
The amount of people that will never have seen Breaking Bad and who don't know
Yeah.
who this
Yeah.
guy
It'd
is,
be awesome.
it's just not
Yeah.
really
I think
important.
I've
He's
only
an
ever seen
actor.
him in Breaking Bad as well, so that's as you say,
What was
he's
the
an
thing he was
actor.
in?
Yeah, exactly.
He's
What
not
was he
Todd
in
from Breaking
before
Bad.
Breaking Bad? And he played quite an innocent character in that.
He's got a look of the young Mark Hamill's about him, isn't he?
Yeah.
I can totally imagine him drinking some blue milk, shooting.
It's paraffin, isn't it?
What? Brilliant.
That's what you do. That's what you do at the weekend.
It's why my gums have
It's
shrunk.
blue milk.
I call it blue milk on my Frosties.
Anyway,
What are you
right.
looking up? Todd
Todd.
from Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
There he is, Todd Alquist.
this is brilliant radio.
Any time now, Dan.
Why don't we move on to the next story, Stuart Reed?
PlayStation Now, which we're all excited about when it happens, which will be PlayStation soon.
Yes. If you're at a server
Not
farm
in
near
Europe.
Maidenhead.
I'm sure we mentioned this last week, but they are recommending you have a 5 megabits.
We did
internet
mention this
connection.
last week because I made the point about
Yeah.
my server being in Maidenhead.
Well, it's not much of a news story then if we've already done it, is it really?
No,
Good job he's not my butler because it'd be miles away.
It would, wouldn't it? It'd
Yeah.
be rubbish.
But it's the technical demands of what you need. You need 5.
Sony has admitted problems with broadband strength here in Europe, so they're reckoning on 2015 as the earliest. That's the best guess.
Wow.
Still no firm information. though.
BT better get a wiggle on.
Why?
So it's sorting out the infrastructure.
Well,
I think
yeah.
we're all right now, aren't we? With this
I'm
BT
fine.
Infinity and everything, they've rolled that out to a lot of the country. You've got a lot of the Virgin fibre optic out there as well.
I just don't know how kind of far-reaching it is the honest answer.
I
You can
think
get it in Blackburn. My mum
Can
has
you?
my mum has optic fibre. It's brilliant.
Your mum has the best internet connection out of anybody
In
here.
Europe. Yeah,
Yes,
no, better than the
which quite
office.
possibly
It was
is.
better than the office when I went home
I
over
know.
Christmas. I was live
Was only
streaming.
one it's the same network speed, but only one person using it rather than the entire
You
office.
could download Bake Off in 2 seconds.
Wow.
Boom.
would you want to?
Yeah, definitely.
You're a fan of Bake Off.
Yeah, what are you
exactly.
dissing Bake
Stop,
Off
like-
for?
I was asking if he'd want to.
Okay, yeah,
I don't-
right.
I'm
I
happy
don't.
with
I
it.
don't mind Bake Off.
No?
No. I
Who's
don't
your
mind.
favourite? Did you like Ruby? Did you like Ruby Tando?
I like the one who made the crazy cakes.
Oh, yes.
The one they were too elaborately designed for their own good, and I
She
don't
forgot to add any flavouring to
any
of them.
flavouring, but they look nice.
Do you like baking? Have you ever baked anything?
Well, I've baked a couple of things, but I wouldn't say that I enjoy it.
Meth.
I don't really like cooking either.
Do you not?
You know,
No.
I get a lot. I used to get a lot of enjoyment from it. But when I first knew you, I think you came over to my place a couple of times
Yeah.
before I worked full time here.
Yes, yeah.
I'm sure I offered you a couple of homemade muffins back then.
Yeah.
It's quite possible.
is that how you got the job?
Well, yeah, more than likely. But the thing is, when you kind of work from home, you work from home like maybe half the time you're supposed to be working, and the rest of it,
You're not
See,
supposed to admit to this.
I just think of that Mitchell and Webb sketch where 2 men who work from home meet each other. This guy's been working home for like 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
and the other one has just started, and he just goes to him after his wife leaves the room and goes, "How do you stop masturbating? How do you stop it?" And he goes, "You don't.
Just go with the
you just
flow."
work how to do work in between."
Yeah. That's why I never have a Skype video call from home.
at least not a full body shot anyway.
Exactly. It's just for some reason this desk is like vibrating.
Oh, the horror.
Michael Douglas.
Talking of sex,
Sex fest.
you think it was just thrown together? Oh no.
No. Michael Douglas is going to be in a Marvel movie. He's going to be playing Ant-Man as well. So the other week we learned that Paul Rudd, the comedy actor, is going to play Scott Lang, which is one incarnation of the famous Marvel hero. But the other incarnation, Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man, is going to be portrayed by Michael Douglas. So there's going to be two Ant-Men.
Yeah.
Some rumours circulating that has the original one maybe gone bad. So you maybe have Michael Douglas set up as possibly a mentor figure, then turns into a villain in the third act.
Isn't that crazy though? Like, who would have thought that a comic book character like Ant-Man would have had like Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas signing up to star?
I think
in
it's
it?
turned into a really interesting, quirky project because Ant-Man is a kind of weird, offbeat character, and Marvel are going to encounter this more and more with these kind of more peripheral characters. How do you treat them? And I think they're coming up with some interesting treatments
and getting interesting directors in as well.
Yeah, this is Edgar Wright, and they're going to modulate it into kind of the genre of a heist movie. So it's not going to be, there's going to be action in it, but it's going to be within context of a different genre. And
is it going to be a lot about being absolutely really little, weedy, tiny? Yeah,
it's his power. Because little, teeny, tiny. So
that's going to work well in a heist movie, isn't it? Because I mean, that's what you want. If you
is that what it is? Is it a heist movie?
Yeah, they're going to do a heist movie.
Sorry, I was thinking about the
comedy heist movie. Brilliant. Comedy heist movie, but I think that also allows for some really interesting action scenes because there's some kind of concept footage they did where he'll miniaturize, run along the barrel of a gun, and then grow big again and kick the guy in the face. So it could be some really cool action sequences.
Really well, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You'd probably have to leap up, then grow really big, and then mid-leap kick him in the face.
Well, you'd have to jump in the air onto the gun, then transform mid-air to land on the barrel, then run along. Because otherwise, if you transform too early, you'll fall down. The gun's going to be up there. How do you get up there?
This could make a really good game.
Yeah,
Do you can
play as in Marvel Lego. You could Ant-Man's one of the unlockable characters right at the end, and you can just you can go in little mazes.
If it's a proper heist though, if you were like going into a bank vault to get loads of money, you'd be all right going in because you'd be tiny. But then how would you manage to collect everything?
But has he got the strength of an ant in terms of strength versus size?
No, it's more of a it's power through technology. I think.
Oh, is it? So it's not like a radiated ant or something.
No, ant on a radiator.
Anton Radiator, who's he?
Anton Chigurh. Anton de Beck. That's a little ant on a duck's beak in France.
Jesus Christ.
In better, happier news, rejoice, for Shia LaBeouf has, quote, retired from all public life.
What does that mean? Does that mean that he never ever goes out now?
He's just going to store his piss in jars by the door.
Maybe.
I hope so.
Why has he done this, Stuart?
He's done this because of all these attacks on him.
All those terrible
because he's
movies
been
he
an
made.
absolutely massive twat.
For a long
It all
time.
started with this Daniel Clowes beef that he had. Do you remember he did this short film, and it turned out it basically plagiarised the Daniel Clowes thing, and he did a really stupid thing, and instead of just like doing that whole mea culpa, I'm really sorry, it was my fault, I won't do it again.
And he would have got essentially he would have got away with it. It would have been
been
storm for a bit.
Yeah.
But he did these really wanky apologies where he actually plagiarised other people's apologies in some sort of
Making a point.
art installation way. And so everybody in the universe, including probably his own mum, thinks Shia LaBeouf's an absolute dick.
I think she's probably long thought that.
And so he's just basically thrown his toys out of the pram and says, yeah, screw you guys. In light of all the recent attacks against my artistic integrity. Fucking hell.
He's
Says the man that was in Transformers and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
I am
He's done a lot of
retiring
those
from
attacks.
all public life. My love goes out to those who have supported me. That's your own penis then, mate, basically, and nobody else.
What was he actually associated with any upcoming projects?
Yeah, he's in
in
this
a
World
drama,
War
isn't
II
he?
film, isn't he? Fury with Brad Pitt. And
Yeah, so
apparently
I'm
he's
actually
caused,
filmed that.
I understand he's
I've finished
caused problems there as well because they're in this tank for a lot of the movie. They're basically tank commanders and they're in this tank, and he's done this whole thing of like refusing to wash to really get in the zone of what it would be like.
Right.
So all the people that are with him, all like Brad Pitt and everybody's just basically going, "Mate, you honk, fuck off."
Wow.
Yeah, what a dick. And he's
Method
apparently,
acting.
so I understand, removed one of his own teeth with a set of pliers.
No.
He's having a proper full-on
He's
mad
cra-
breakdown.
also-
He's losing the plot.
I know quite a few people who've interviewed him. I won't go into specifics, but I think he is a bit of a
Dick.
Right. Oh.
Let us know if you have any love for Shia LaBeouf. maybe Shia, if you're
there was
listening.
a period of time where he could have taken off and been an absolutely huge star.
Yeah.
And made some really bad choices, and I think was a bit of a dick, and it's come around and bit him in the ass.
Has he done any good films? What was that one where he was under house arrest? Which was like a remake of Rear Window.
It's something like Paranoia, isn't it?
Yeah. Urban Annoia? I don't know.
Oh, it was. I know the thing you mean.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Suburb.
Yeah,
It's like suburban paranoia mixed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
People are shouting at the MP3
Yes.
player now. Come on.
Oh,
Disturbia. There you go.
Disturbia.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at his. We're just
Let's go
have a look,
way
see what
back.
it's worth. Right.
Right. He did
Nothing there. No.
Caroline in the City.
Wow. Do you remember that?
I remember Caroline.
favourites.
She's a cartoonist. It's the mum from Back to the Future, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Suddenly Susan. It's a lot. Touched by an Angel. My mum loved that. Touched by an Angel.
You were touched by an angel, weren't you, Catholic boy?
Get off me, you're not a priest.
ER.
He used to speak.
Still does.
Still does.
Still does.
I've not heard any more VRs from her.
Terrorway is a brilliant game. You can jump up and down.
It's very good. You sound like Orville.
All right, so
He really hasn't been in it.
Disturbia is his best film.
Yeah.
Transformers, Indiana Jones, Crystal Skull, New York, I Love You, Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye's okay. Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps, Lawless. He's really not been in that much either, has he?
He's in Nymphomaniac
Yeah.
as well, lest we forget.
But
I really,
Let's
and I
forget.
don't want to see Little LaBeouf. I've no desire to see Little LaBeouf at all.
I'd shy away from that.
Zing. That is why you're paying big bucks. Let's move on to this week's Reader FU, a bumper crop of Reader FU this week. And Alex, I believe you have the first piece.
The first piece is from Darius. I'm not sure if it's the Darius.
Dinesh.
Yes.
No.
I don't know. He hasn't put his surname.
All right.
I don't think so. I think it might be Darius O'Canning, according to his
Might well
email
be.
address.
Well, he'll know who it is,
Anyway,
I'm sure.
I'd like to kick off with a big thank you. It's been a rough few months and your podcasts have really helped. They made me remember what it is to smile and cry with laughter.
Has he written to the right people?
Yes.
I said beyond.
Incredibly, yes. To counter that point, it's still as much of a shambles as it's always been. Keep the tomfoolery up. If you ever become professional, it'll be a sad day. Is that? I'm not sure if that is that.
Can you keep that on file next time our boss asks
Yeah, I'll
us
do
what
that,
we've been
yeah.
doing? It's like it would be a shame if we were professional.
Exactly. So anyway, he has absolutely no interest in the new generation of hardware. Neither one of them has a gimmick that appeals to me, and the only games that girdle any emotions in the loins are Infamous Second Son and Evolve.
Ooh. We're going to see Evolve next week, actually.
Yeah. So again, we were talking about Infamous Second Son like last night, and while I like the look of the world, I just don't like the lead character. I think he's probably the Shia LaBeouf of video games.
That's harsh, man.
But we will see, we will see. So anyway, despite all the hardships last year in my personal and professional life, the gaming spoils were good. I hope to see more emotional blackmail such as in Papers, Please, Bioshock Infinite, Last of Us and Gone Home in future games. There were a few disappointments, however. On top of it all, Arkham Origins was a big letdown as finding aliens... as finding out aliens speak in Welsh or God made the universe for a science project. And got a C. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It did. As you were saying it, I was understanding the words that were coming out of your mouth and in the order they were coming out from.
Yeah, I didn't.
Did you ever get round to playing Batman? You're a big Batman fan?
No, I didn't. I never did. No.
Ever going to go back to it? Probably not. Dan Kilby really liked it.
I'm probably
Easy to please her.
not going to get round to it just because you know what happened. You know, load of big games coming out in March. A ton of big games.
There'll be
coming out
loads
in
of games
March.
this year that'll be at the end of the year we'll be raving about.
Yeah.
But we probably don't, not even on our radar right now.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to the Batman Arkham series? Do you think that we are well and truly entrenched in the law of diminishing returns now?
No, because I think when the original developer comes back on board, we'll be in...
Because the last one wasn't Rocksteady.
That's right. But are Rocksteady going to be involved in the future?
They must be cooking up a next-gen version.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That, it's still sold okay.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
do something amazing.
Almost
but
like tied it
just
over.
needs-
Just keep-
Yeah, but this
just
is
needs a bit of a refresh.
Here's the thing: if you're going to release a game like that to lukewarm reviews, does that not damage the franchise more than just not having a game for a couple of years?
I guess it's...
It wasn't bad.
I think
it just
it did
didn't have
better
the
than
kind
what- I
of the
think-
strong narrative that the previous. Like it was the actual mechanics were pretty much the same as what they were.
Yeah.
2 years before.
I think it's slightly better than lukewarm, but just. But also, the Warner Bros. Don't release all that many games.
Yeah.
Probably kept them ticking over in terms of cash flow.
Yeah.
Would have done all right. And it's all about the next one. Honestly, if the next one has like some kind of character switching mechanic like GTA between Batman, Superman, and like a third hero that cycles throughout the game, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in that.
Because I don't think, like, to answer your question from a little while back, if Rocksteady come back with exactly the same game but with slightly better graphics, then no, I don't think that will deliver. But I'm hoping that because they've had the time off from you're not doing Origins, that they're investing in more than just prettier graphics.
I like them, like if they went back and like even because I think we're all in agreement, we all prefer the first one more than City, even though City got a lot of acclaim when it came out and it's still a great game. Yeah. I think we all liked how kind of cleverly structured the first game was. Yeah. It's kind of that Metroidvania thing, like you go back through sections again and again and they change, you get new equipment, you approach them in different ways. It'd be great if they went back and maybe just did something like that. Yeah. Because I know the Vita game did the prison. Yeah. It focused on Blackgate. Yeah. That'd be cool if they did that, like a big structure where you have to go back and investigate it.
It's a difficult balancing act when you've got a larger world, isn't it? It's a difficult balancing act between keeping your interest and keeping that game really focused.
In City, it was open world, but I never explored that world.
No. And
I also just flew between bits.
Well, that's it. You never ever got down to ground level unless you screwed up.
And then when you did, it was underpopulated.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it was walled off, so there weren't pedestrians. Yeah. There were gangs here and there to beat up. So it didn't really feel like a real world, unlike GTA.
Yeah, it got in the way of you getting from point A to point B, whereas in GTA it's another dimension to kind of explore and enjoy.
Okay, moving on. Next bit.
Yeah, this is from Hunter Carl. Last week we remarked upon his name, Hunter. It's pretty badass.
Hunter Carl.
And Hunter says, turns out I'm a big fan of my name too. And he says it also translates into some pretty cool names as well. Do you want to hear them?
Yeah. Go on then.
In Spanish, Cazador.
Cazador.
Italian, Cacciatore. Welsh, Helwe.
What's that?
We should have a loop for this.
I
think in Welsh it's pronounced. That's where you basically like got to spit and just phlegm yourself up.
Yeah, that's what that would be.
German, Jaeger, like Jägermeister. And Jaeger's from Pacific Rim. Don't know why I did that.
That's how they look.
And in French, chasseur. So again, chicken chasseur.
And chasseur is not quite so cool, is it?
Chicken chasseur. And in Czech is lovets.
Oh, he really has done his research.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got babel fish.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Cheers, Hunter. Your name is pretty badass.
Google Translate happened to it.
Oh dear.
Google happens to everything in the end.
Yeah.
Will be Googled soon.
We will.
Replaced.
Assimilated.
Yeah. Sherlock, episode 3 aired on Sunday.
It did
indeed.
And I think we're all agreed that it was a fairly fitting end to
It was good.
3. It was
definitely the best one in the series.
Yeah. Jordan Hackney says, I thought episode 3 of Sherlock was excellent. Moriarty's return is great. Should mention spoiler alert, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I almost feel like series 3 was slightly wasted. However, it took this last episode to really feel you were watching the show we'd enjoyed previously. And although the idea of episode 2 was admirable, in a 3-episode series, you can't really afford a lull. Now, that's interesting you say that, because I think quite a few people are saying, in retrospect, episodes 1 and 2 of this season worked better once you saw episode 3. But you, Dan, are not as.
I think that's a bit of a cop out. That's like saying, I don't know. It's like saying if there's you flip it around that argument, and if you have a really good first and second film in a series, and the third one's crap, you don't go, the third one was good because the first two they were pretty good. I don't see why just because the third one was good, it makes the first two retroactively better.
No, there are a couple of but it makes more sense as a season than it does as 3 individual episodes. I think
slightly, but only because there's a few things that Murray say that kind of link in, and you glimpse Magnuson at the end of the first episode. To take those things out, I don't think there's much more that bind them together. Like, the first episode's still a bit like them working through all the stuff, like, you left me, why didn't you tell me? Or you told everyone else but not me, why didn't you tell me who you trust more than anyone? And then the second one, a lot of it was taken up by a pretty inferior kind of mystery about this guy that stabs people while they're wearing tight belts, which is kind of weird. There's a few things like her being able to read a skip code and having a good memory and stuff like that kind of fits in. But I don't think it makes it like, oh, it's so smart.
No. But I don't think that's what we're saying.
Okay.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it kind of makes a bit more sense as a season. But yeah, on its own, it's like...
I think I would have preferred maybe a little bit more build up to that villain than there was. Yeah. Like him to be maybe more behind the stuff in the second episode.
Because I think that's the other thing for me is that, okay, so Moriarty is now back, which is great, but at the same time, it's like... It just feels a bit of a cop-out, I guess.
What, having Moriarty back?
Yeah. So soon. It's the same thing, like going back to the Batman stuff. I find it a bit of a cop-out that every single time it's, it's the Joker! It's the Joker again.
You mean convict, like actually keep true to your word, have some conviction about it.
Yeah, and you know...
He might still be dead. He might be reaching out. He might have planned this all.
I can't wait for an entire episode of it explaining what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever learn how Sherlock actually did it.
No. Well, a couple of things that I'm not sure about. Do you not think it was out of character for Sherlock to shoot the guy at the end of episode 3? Whatever his name was.
I think the problem is that Sherlock, the character, has changed so much in the last 3 episodes. I don't really know what the fuck he did in different instances.
Is it... I don't know. Like Magnuson was pretty disgusting. At the same time, he wasn't killing anyone.
No, he wasn't. He may have been nasty and grasping and a bit evil, but like you say, he wasn't. Was he actually?
He was a bully.
People?
But
is that any reason to shoot someone in the face?
Yeah. I quite like. Did you like the kind of the vault thing and stuff like that? Did you see it coming? Or
I didn't see it coming, and I thought it was quite.
What I said in my review is I thought he worked well as a villain because it's like he was quite like Sherlock. What Sherlock could be in another world.
Yeah, but you could say that about Moriarty, though, couldn't you, as well?
Yeah, but I just thought it was a counterpoint to the series because the whole thing throughout this series is Holmes embracing friendship and realising the value of John and companionship and making connections. Mycroft being opposed to that, keeping himself isolated. And Magnuson's almost a more extreme example of that he's completely retreated. He's built this fortress for himself and kind of escaped into his own mind and using that for evil rather than helping people. Yeah. Whereas I think Moriarty's just totally unhinged. He is more that kind of Lord of Misrule, like the Joker.
Like the Joker. Well, the other thing I hope is that Mary doesn't become the wisecracking, ass-kicking sidekick in the next season. You know, when they get into a bit of physical issue, physical trouble, suddenly she starts bustling away and kicks ass.
Although John was pretty badass when he beat up that guy with a knife.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
He was. But my worry is that they're going to have this character now, and they're going to have to do something with her, looking at her backside.
Also, you assume they'll have had the baby.
I'm really hoping that she fades into the background now. For me, she's served her purpose.
You want to see them going up against Moriarty, each one of those 3 episodes having something initiated by Moriarty, and each week they get closer and closer to.
Well, that's it. It's
that'll be exciting.
Like 3 individual tales, but build up to a kind of overarching plot or something.
You know what I'd love it. You know that I don't know if you like the film or not, but Die Hard with a Vengeance, where they're running around New York trying to solve.
I watched it the other day. Actually,
that'd be cool. Imagine that.
It's really good. Yeah.
Imagine them running around London and just being like baited constantly.
Well, the other side of the coin is she going to become the damsel in distress in every episode? Is Moriarty going to get his claws on her in every episode, and they've got to go and rescue her? Because that would be equally as tedious.
Yeah,
but at the same
quite
time,
handy.
I was going to say, but at the same time, she's got a kid.
Yeah. It's whether the kid's the emotional leverage.
I hope the show is smart enough to watch out for those pitfalls.
Yeah.
It's going to go either way, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, and also I hope it's on by next Christmas. Yeah. 2-year wait, I think, will work against it.
Yeah.
That timing was definitely a bit weird, though, wasn't it? With this being almost a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
You do get the feeling they shifted the dates a little bit.
I must admit, I didn't even click that until you kind of said it, but the fact that that probably would have been the one that aired. But I think the bigger thing was having an episode airing on the Wednesday and then the Sunday.
Yeah.
And for waiting so long, and then it was finished. It was like, oh.
They almost threw them away. It's almost like they knew they weren't as good as they could have been, and we'll just kind of get them out there.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not. Let's move on. Bit more readers.
So, email from Lee Graham, who said Matt Barlow's piece of feedback a few podcasts ago was spot on. If Nintendo keeps supporting the Wii U with their own software and maybe even third-party surprise every now and then, that's the end of that sentence. Then in 2 years' time. Release a new console that can compete with this new generation in terms of third-party support. So what he's saying is, keep the Wii U ticking over first party, and then come up with a new console in 2 years' time. We'll come back to that in a minute. Every generation I've bought a second console about 2 or 3 years into it. Already own an Xbox One, and I've loved Nintendo since a young age. Definitely fought my money out for a new console offering from Nintendo rather than buy the PS4, in which, in his opinion, isn't that different from Xbox One, which I agree with. But at the same time, if they bring out another console in 2 years' time, that means the Wii U has had a shelf life of, 4 years maximum.
Yep.
Maximum. And I just don't think that's good enough, quite frankly. 4 years, not enough first-party games. It's like, I agree, like if you want a different console experience, but I just think, offer value. And that's what the 3DS does.
Yeah.
That is a second console that offers a ton of value, loads of great games.
Very different experience as well.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like somebody in the office reckons that Nintendo's E3 this year is going to be some kind of Android-based tablet. Shout out to Will Guyatt.
Big Willy Stars.
Android-based tablet that will kind of, I guess, be somewhere in between the 3DS and...
The Ouya? I don't know. Because the Ouya is Android-powered, isn't it?
I don't think that's going to happen. No. Frankly.
It'd be interesting to see Nintendo
not
embracing other platforms as kind of the
Do you
slow...
think they will, though?
No, because
I don't think they will.
They don't need to. They've
One
got
day
enough
they might.
cash. They've got enough money.
One day, but I don't think that day is here yet.
Watching Rich Bear Park edit these videos he's been doing this week, which are coming up on the site very soon, which are all
a few of them
games
are
to
up
look
right
forward to
now.
on every platform.
Yeah.
He did one for Wii U, and do you know what? Didn't look too bad, the stuff that's coming out this year. But the thing is, with games that are also coming on other systems, once you take those out of the equation, you are left with very little that is unique. I mean, obviously the new Mario Kart's coming out this year.
There's probably more unique stuff on the Wii U. Well, but there's a lot of unique stuff on the Wii U. Like, obviously the first party stuff, but stuff like X looks awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't played JRPG for years, since probably had the SNES. But that looks cool. It's like dinosaurs, jetpacks, mechs. And it looks really, really pretty.
Yeah.
And of course Bayonetta 2, which is the only game I'm looking forward to.
You don't care about anything else, do you?
Nothing else. Bayonetta, that's it.
Didn't really click with the first one.
I really enjoyed it. I think it was great fun.
Yeah.
I did like that. Right, next up is this bit of feedback from Ryan Calderbank, and it's about Steam. Hey guys, this whole Steam machine thing is a case of very poor marketing. I think we'd agree there.
Yep.
When I first heard about this, I thought it was a great idea because I assumed they were going to be made by Valve, like the Beta. In fact, I was planning to have a Steam machine as my second console until I saw the 14 of them at the CES. Exactly. I don't understand why they don't have first-party Steam machines which vary in power and can be customized to your liking. I don't think Valve understands that people are happy if there are a few choices and they are explained clearly so you understand the difference. Quite
point
agree.
I made last week.
Absolutely. If you give people too many, don't explain them, people get overwhelmed and confused. People are just going to stick to their PC and maybe buy the controller. What do you guys think? Well, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think this is a golden missed opportunity, or a missed golden opportunity.
Yeah.
A golden opportunity that has been missed.
Yes.
One of those three.
I understand what you're talking about.
Thanks, Alex.
Stop speaking. But, it just feels like it's another PC. That's it. And it's like there are lots of them out there already. I'm already confused as to what I should be buying because there are too many components. 14 different options.
It's ridiculous. I still say a modular system. That's what somebody needs to design. It's a modular system where you what's that?
They have razors.
Yeah, we spoke about that. It's like there's a Project Catherine or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But it needs to be so obvious that you've got a module that's like graphics.
Yes.
This is rating 2.
Memory.
Rating 3 gives you better graphics. But that simplicity, make it easy for me. Don't call it a GTX 6600
make it like
FX.
Jupiter.
Yeah, and
which
then,
is better than
and
the
then bring
same-
out a TI edition, which is apparently better, or it might be cheaper. I can't
Just
decide.
numbers from 1 to 10. 10
Yeah.
bet. 10
And that's the other. Like, if you're going to upgrade that, well, you need to change that as well. I was like,
Yeah, painful.
I can't do it. Does not compute.
Literally does not compute.
All right,
I
Nathan
need a
Dog.
Steam machine to make it compute, but I can't choose which one.
I'm in some sort of infinite loop.
Statistical anomaly. Nathan
Yes.
Dodd is asking, watching your latest podcast. Watching, because you can now watch the podcast every Friday here on IGN. We put the video up as well as the audio podcast. Yeah. I noticed that 3/4 of the panel were spectacles. Is there a correlation between gamers and the blind?
No, we're all wankers.
Yeah. Well, firstly, can I say it was 3/4 last week. This week it's actually only 2/3.
Although
I've got contacts in.
Yeah.
So they're kind of little tiny glasses. I don't think.
I'd love it if you had little frames in
It's
your
like
eyes.
I'm wearing pince nez.
Pince nez.
Pince nez. No correlation. I've got an acute astigmatism.
Well, I was going to say, like,
Lovely pair of tits. Oh no, that's the wrong gag, isn't it?
bad eyesight is apparently genetic. So
Yeah.
there you go.
If we were living in the time of dinosaurs, all three of us would be fucked.
By dinosaurs.
Banging heads.
Actually, that's the point, because we wouldn't be, would we?
We wouldn't do it.
No.
That would be
We'd
weird.
definitely be fucked then, because
Yeah.
we would have travelled back
we
in
would
time
be
somehow,
out of time.
lost our glasses, and we'd just be stumbling around blind.
But then again, you could see a T-Rex if it was coming. So that's quite big.
Yeah, you'd be all right. Just stand still, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's what
Have you
you
seen
would do.
it?
Then.
My eyesight's not that bad.
Stu's little tiny eyes. He wouldn't be able to see anything.
Tiny eyes.
His little tiny
Little
eyes.
nosy
You've not
eyes.
seen him without his glasses. He's
This
like
is
little,
workplace
like,
bullying.
This one's in the
tiny
snow.
eyes.
Good. Thanks for embarrassing me in front of the entire nation, Dan Krupa.
We know only 5 people watch it.
Yeah. UHD versus 4K is the title of this email.
You got it wrong.
Do you know what? Even I am past caring. Guys, just listening to your podcast, wanted you to know the difference between 4K and Ultra HD. Well, IGN's Sean Finnegan did an article on the IGN website.
Yeah.
Who?
Someone else at IGN that knows more than you. So I'm going to ask him next time.
Please do. Get out of my face.
Sean's nice.
So
he was
4K
at Gamescom last week.
I wasn't.
Last week? Last month? Last year?
Last week.
So here's how it works, right?
Flight was a bit delayed.
Here's how it works. 4K is a video standard and has a resolution of 4096 by 2160 pixels.
Yes.
Got that?
Yes.
However, Ultra HD is the forthcoming TV standard, and that comes in at 3840 by 2160.
So it's all about aspect ratios, right?
Well, not really, because it's a bit irritating, isn't it? Because both aspect ratios are kind of 16:9.
Are they?
Yes.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, it does. It's pixel shape, I think.
Is it?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, here's the thing. It's slightly different. So what they shoot in the cinema at 4K
Yeah.
isn't going to be an exact one-to-one replication on your 4K TV.
Right.
And do you know why?
No.
And I read up about this. It's because it means that DVDs and Blu-rays upscale better to 3840 by 2160 pixels than they do to 4096 by 2160 pixels.
Why?
They just do.
I'm glad you read up on it.
Didn't read up that much.
I did. I read the headline. I thought, okay, now I understand, and moved on.
Brilliant.
If you want to find out why, you can Google it.
Such insight. Do you know what? I'm just going to email Sean and
Yeah.
ask him. Because
Maybe
he
we
obviously
get-
knows what he's
we
doing.
Get Sean on the podcast next time there's a technical question. Just phone him up. He won't mind. But thanks for that, Brett. I do appreciate it. Brent, sorry. Brett. Get in trouble now.
I've got an email from NJ, aka Stray Cannon.
Good.
Greetings and indeed salutations. Definitive Tomb Raider. Looks pretty. Have it on 360. Worth the expense? Nah. This is a weird email. IGN poll winner on Xbox 360. GTA. A cross-platform title. Never played. Not interested. IGN poll winner on PS3. The Last of Us. An exclusive title. Never played. Would love to play. Hate the DualShock 3 with seething intensity. Melt in my microwave of doom you mutilated monstrosity of a controller. Insert evil laughter here. So, question 1. Would you agree PlayStation produced better exclusive titles?
You asking me?
It's a round table question.
Of late, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think over the last 3 to 4 years.
But scratch Last of Us from that. If it wasn't for The Last of Us...
Journey.
Yeah, good point. They do... Oh, well, but then again, you know, there's some amazing games on Xbox Live. Like Braid, Limbo, all that kind of stuff.
But that's now on PlayStation. Exclusive.
It wasn't.
Oh, wasn't.
Wow.
It's just like question time, isn't it?
Just like it, yeah.
It
Imagine if they
wasn't.
started doing that. And I ask you, Labour MP.
Your question's rubbish.
You're like the one person on the panel that's not an MP going, you're gay.
They'd
Anyway.
improve their viewing figures, wouldn't they? That'd be amazing.
So anyway, do PlayStation produce better
I
exclusive
think over
titles?
the last few years they've invested more heavily in kind of cultivating talent. The first party stuff, Uncharted, Last of Us, Infamous, and then all the kind of PSN stuff, Unfinished Swan, Journey.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
I think it has the edge for me.
Yeah.
But, you know, obviously a lot of people love Halo. Gears of War as a franchise has definitely
Beyond
gone
Heavy
down.
Rain. There are
Yeah.
more kind of interesting
Yeah.
exclusives.
Yeah.
So maybe not best per se, but I think there's
Greater
more
variety.
variety.
Yeah. Question 2. Do you think we'll see more definitive editions making their way to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One?
Yeah.
Or do you think it will be limited to streaming titles?
I think we will see it.
I think we will.
Because there was
it's an
that
easy way to
rumour
make
about
money, right?
mistake on the Bethesda website about Skyrim coming
Yeah.
to Xbox One, PS4. But they got a lot of positive response. A lot of people are like, I would totally play that again. Or people who missed it are going, I'd love to see the nicest looking version of that game.
Yeah.
And
because surely that exists on PC already,
yeah,
right?
and I don't none of us are technically minded enough to know how easy it is to take those existing assets and put them onto the new systems. But if that isn't too much work for the new architecture, then you're going to like cash in quite a lot. It's like money for old rope. Really, like after an initial outlay to get it up and running.
Yeah, because last year, and obviously we were talking about Batman, and it sold okay, but overall sales figures, GTA aside, were relatively low, and I think that is a pretty easy way of making money back quite easily.
Also, in a year, before like lots of new games come out, like those kind of quiet spells, target them and release like some games that other people probably never got around to playing it. Make it look better, add in all the DLC, nice attractive price point. Jobs are good.
That's the key, right?
Yeah.
Is even like Assassin's Creed Liberation HD that we were playing yesterday is that if you've bought the season pass for Black Flag, it's $11.99, brand new Assassin's Creed adventure. If you're into that game, why not? There's nothing else coming out in January.
Yeah. Okay, 2 related emails here. One from Phil Haynes, one's from Robbie. Start with Phil. Love the podcast. The debate about whether Gaikai, do you want to say it, Stuart?
Gaikai!
Was racist or not was hilarious. Pretty sure it is racist, though.
I don't think so.
And he says, my question is, how did you all get into your respective careers? Do you have any tips for me moving forward?
Yeah, put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. Robbie says...
Well, no, yours was like home-baked muffins, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Robbie's is I throw my opinion on what to call the PS4 and Xbones. Personally, I think we should call them next gens to the point where Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 games stop being manufactured.
But that's like 2 or 3 years down the line.
Totally.
And you can't keep calling them next gen at that point.
I find it comfortable calling them next gen.
But you find it comfortable pissing in your own pants.
Yeah.
So.
Don't you?
Sure.
Come on, you've pissed in my pants loads of times.
Also, Robbie says, if we can get a question in, how did each of you get into games journalism careers?
I'm not in games journalism.
You just turn up, don't you?
I just wander in off the street.
Have your bacon sandwich?
How did you get into games journalism?
You gave me a job.
There you go.
Hey!
There's no kind of tried and tested route. I think we've talked about this before in a past podcast in greater details. If you can find which one that was, I'm not really sure what number it was.
Let's use Luke as an example because he's not here. So
Pestered people.
The good thing about Luke is, he did work experience, and some work experience people turn up thinking that they're just going to sit there and play games all day. And other work experience people turn up and really knuckle down, listen, and get cracking. And that's what Luke did.
It's been nice. It's been nice and respectful. You'll have no idea how many people forget that and they come in with an attitude or just not very respectful.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way. Be friendly, be nice.
Yeah. And listen.
Because that's how you'll make connections. And then when people come to making decisions on who to give freelance to or work, it is a massive factor. Obviously, ability is one. So, read and write and get better.
That is helpful.
But it's true. Like so many people who want to be writers don't read. Yeah. It's baffling.
Yeah.
It's like you wouldn't do that with any other. Like you wouldn't play an instrument without practicing.
I think there is a common mistake that is like, I like video games, therefore I want to write about them. Yeah. And actually, there are a wealth of different jobs out there. If you're into video games, make them. Exactly. Yeah.
Even there's more careers in games than just like you say, writing about them. More than ever so before. You can work into the marketing and sales aspects if that's more your kind of your thing and what you're better at.
And I think in terms of you're a good example. The actual time you spend playing games is minuscule to the time you spend actually writing about them. It's it's very much the opposite way around.
But I think it's easier now with the internet to get a start. You don't wait for permission. Yeah. You can start a blog right today. You can start your own website. You can buy a URL. You can start a YouTube channel. You can buy
YouTube channel for sure.
Buy a game capture kit for £50. You've got a console and just make. And then when you do get yourself into a situation where you can go for an interview or apply for a job, you have a wealth of material to show them. Yeah. And people will love that kind of industry.
Yeah, I think it's really important to figure out what your voice is. And I don't actually mean what your voice is, but who are you?
What have you got to say that's going to be different?
I think I went through something ridiculous, 1,000 applicants for the job that you got. And
Christ, they must have been awful.
There's a lot. I was flying to San Francisco and I spent pretty much the entire flight going through applications. And you can tell in the first 3 words whether someone's going to be good. And so if you're submitting a piece, make sure it stands out. Make sure there's something interesting about it. Because everybody will do, well, I've been playing games for blah, 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 blah. It's like...
Yeah, and if you're doing a CV, this is just general CV advice. Cut out all the irrelevant stuff. Yeah. Like, I think a lot of people have been taught how to do CVs at school, which isn't right, and it's like putting in hobbies and stuff. You know, to get rid of it. Care. It's not pertinent. Yeah. Keep it to one sheet.
It's great that you play the guitar, but you're never going to do it in the office.
Yeah.
Oh.
But just keep it to one sheet and foreground all the information that's best for that job. Like, nobody cares about a swimming certificate when you're 10. Sorry, Stu. But
not even if it's a gold swim certificate.
I think it's worth you talking about your background, though, because you came from, like, freelance. And
the street.
Yeah, you've done all sorts.
Oh, yeah, loads of different things.
You just, like, thrown yourself in things. You became, like, multi-talented.
Yeah, I decided...
You taught yourself a lot of stuff.
I would say multitasking.
Yeah.
Multitasking.
So, you're very skillful at a lot of things, but you're kind of a jack of all trades, but you've taught yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, I left school with no qualifications at all. I didn't sit any exams. And then I got involved in radio and did radio for many, many years. And then, probably about 15 years ago, I could see that the whole kind of the way the media landscape was changing is that people were not just doing radio, they were also, getting involved in video stuff. So I taught myself how to edit on video. Yeah. And ended up doing this, which is a bit of both. So I can do voiceovers here, I can edit videos.
That's the thing. It's like
podcasts.
Like even being like a games journalist, there's a lot more than just writing. It's video captures, video presenting, VOs,
script writing.
And I excel at doing VOs, so I've really taught myself to be good at that stuff. So.
But you're right, Dan. Just go out and do it. Nobody's going to stop you doing what you want to do. Yeah. And if you shine at it, if you excel at it, you will get noticed.
And then I'd probably target some smaller sites and offer your services. Don't work for free. Yeah. Don't work for free because
unless work experience for a week, I think it's fine. But don't
don't write for big sites or big papers, anything like that for free, because it sets a very dangerous precedent for you and your fellow journalists. Yeah. But never not work for free. If it's good for you and it will help you in some way and it gets your foot in the door somewhere for a short amount of time, then I think that's okay. But I think you'll know when you're being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have to shoot off?
I do.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Well, isn't that... you're going to talk about it this week?
Yeah.
Well, I'm out right now, so I'll see you later. Bye.
Alex is out this week. Very quickly then, Dan, things coming out this week, a couple of movies coming out. Devil's Due, which I think you're seeing tonight.
I'm seeing tonight. They did the great viral for Devil's Due, where they had this animatronic devil baby going around Manhattan scaring the absolute bejesus out of people. You've not seen this?
No.
You've not seen this?
No.
I'll show you this after the podcast. You'll absolutely love it. Kind of schlocky horror movie. I don't know much more about it. I'm going to see it tomorrow.
You're quite a fan of schlocky horror movies.
Yeah, well, I don't know, it's a bit Rosemary's Baby. I think this woman is pregnant with Satan's child.
Right.
Don't know. I'm writing a review of it tonight after seeing the movie.
Write it before you see the movie.
What else?
Night of the Hunter, which is an absolutely extraordinary film. If you've never seen it, it's a 1955 black and white movie directed by a guy called Charles Lawton, who was a very successful actor. And this is the only film that he ever directed because it got absolutely slammed on release. So one of those films that was way ahead of its time again, because it was quite gritty and dark and
very disturbing. Very disturbing.
It's about a preacher man who becomes a serial killer, and it's a battle of wits between him and these two kids to get their hands on the estate of these kids' dead father.
But it's very horrible the way that he courts these kids.
Oh yeah, it's Robert Mitchum playing the preacher, and it's a gritty, uncomfortable film. It's bloody good though, and see it on the big screen, because a lot of these old movies, these old black and white films, they look absolutely visually, they look stunning on a big screen.
It's a limited release, and it's part of the BFI Gothic season, and I think they're showing it outside of London, but obviously very select cinemas. But if not, track it down on DVD.
Yep. Tim's Vermeer, no idea what that is.
Tim's Vermeer is fantastic. It's a 89-minute documentary. It's a really short, very compact, directed by Teller from Penn and Teller.
Okay.
And it's magical, but doesn't have a shred of magic in it. It's about this guy called Tim, who I think he created... he was an inventor, and I think he actually owns the company, and he invented our TriCaster.
Right.
And he's just this crazy modern inventor. He just build stuff all the time. And then he became fascinated with the paintings of Johannes Vermeer, because there's something very distinctive about Vermeer's paintings, even compared to his own contemporaries. They look like they've been painted, but using video cameras. There's something very filmic about his paintings, and this has always baffled the art world. And David Hockney proposed a theory that Vermeer actually used rudimentary lenses as a way of capturing his subjects, and then kind of painting over top of a projected image. Because the way that he paints light looks like a film camera, but obviously film cameras didn't exist back then. So,
can you give us an example of Vermeer's work? Some names that
The Girl with the Pearl Earring is probably his most famous picture. And the documentary follows this guy, Tim, as he tries to work out what kind of apparatus Vermeer would have had to create these paintings. And he comes up with something and then spends 5 months. He spends about 4 months recreating the exact scene of one of Vermeer's most famous pictures. Then he spends another 4 or 5 months painting it using this apparatus. And at the end, it's a flawless replica.
Really?
And this guy can't paint at all. And he creates a technology that allows him to do it. And it's a brilliant documentary.
There's another documentary coming out this week as well about fly fishing.
Okay.
And I can't remember the name of it. It's really going to bug me now. But it's about this one woman who made this bait for fly fishing, and it's known as the best fly fishing bait in the world. Let's have a look. I'm just seeing if it's coming up here. Kiss the Water. That's what it's called. Kiss the Water. And apparently, it's absolutely remarkable.
I think that's the power of documentaries. Is they can be about subjects you have no interest in whatsoever, but they present them and shape them with a narrative, rendering them utterly compelling.
Of course, if you want something that's big, loud, brash, and good fun, and 3 hours long, you've got Wolf of Wall Street coming out.
It doesn't feel 3 hours long. I thought it whipped along.
Good fun?
Hilarious, and it's kind of the dark comedy companion to Goodfellas.
Right.
So if the gangsters were the organised crime that gripped America in the 60s and 70s, who were the biggest crooks of the 80s and 90s? Well, it's the white-collar dudes on Wall Street.
Yeah.
And DiCaprio's hilarious in it. It does physical comedy.
I hear the physical comedy is worthy of Chaplin.
It's brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah, you'll absolutely love that bit. And there's also a gag in it that's kind of a little bit Father Ted as well. So I'll wait until you see that.
All right,
before we
look
talk
forward to
about
that.
it.
I'm actually, I want to go and see it this week, but I'm going to go and see Gravity again before it leaves the
your
IMAX.
missus?
Yeah, because Michelle still hasn't seen it. And I know it's coming out on home ends, but
Got to see it in IMAX.
you've got to see it on the biggest screen
IMAX is
possible.
going to be incredible.
Yeah,
I've
so
not
I'm
seen
looking,
it.
hopefully we're going to do that tonight or tomorrow night. And I want it to be one of those films that they re-release on every so
regular
often.
basis, just to remind you.
How bloody good it is. Games-wise, Joe Danger
Not much at all.
Infinity. You've been playing this
I
week?
reviewed that. I'll be putting that up after we record this podcast. It's excellent. There's not much out at the moment. I think it's 169 on iOS at the moment. And it's just a brilliant game. It's more of the same if you play Joe Danger Touch, but that's a good thing. It's really good fun. And it's just a very happy game.
Right. And Mario Party Island Tour. Know anything about that?
That came out earlier in the States. We already reviewed it. It's pretty average. So the 3DS kind of run of great games by Nintendo's kind of flops a bit with that. But
Not everyone 3DS
can be a
game
winner.
can be amazing. Exactly.
Kid.
That pretty much wraps it up then. IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com if you'd like to get in touch with us. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast this week. I've had a blast. Have you, Daniel?
I have indeed.
That's marvellous, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Buns are the best.